Okay, so what we wanted to talk about today was, can you actually use Red Hat Enterprise Linux as a workstation desktop operating system? And the answer, I think, depending on your use case, could be a yes. Now, RHEL 10 just got released very, very recently, and I have installed it here on my laptop. This is the actual RHEL on my actual hardware, and it is running, as you can tell, pretty well. Actually, I've been using it for a few days now since it got released to GA. I've been using it on my laptop since then, and I've not really had any issues with anything I've done. I've even played some games, like I've installed Lutris and played some World of Warcraft. That's about the only game I actually play, but that actually worked fine. Steam seems to load up fine. I haven't really installed anything on Steam yet, but the flat packs work well. The system works fine. One little caveat is that I've had has been using NVIDIA. Now on my desktop, I don't have NVIDIA, and RHEL, I did install it on there just to test it out on my main desktop. Even though I don't use RHEL on there very often, I did throw it on a spare drive and tested it out on my desktop, and it doesn't use NVIDIA drivers whatsoever. It's an AMD system. This laptop here has an older NVIDIA chip in it. It's like a 1050, and from what I could tell, there wasn't a way to get the driver any other way than just getting it through the NVIDIA's website and just downloading it directly from NVIDIA's website and installing it that way. It was pretty easy. All I had to do was install the NVIDIA, the kernel headers, and was able to get it up and running that way. But it installed, so I was able to get RHEL installed with the NVIDIA drivers installed, and it's working pretty good. Again, some caveats with RHEL as a desktop, if you're going to use it as a workstation or a desktop outside of a enterprise level system, which this is obviously what it's designed for, is an enterprise system, but there's some advantages to it being the support cycle is very long. Like 10 years, something like that. So the system will be supported for a very long time, which is appealing to certain people. And it's interesting to be able to use it as a desktop system if you really want to. Especially since flat packs and things like that, you can get most of the software you want, because RHEL does not come with a ton of software in itself, because it is very curated to the enterprise level system and enterprise stability and things like that. So, there's that. That being said, you can use RPM Fusion with RHEL, and they do have it with RHEL 10. So what you want to do if you install RHEL is go to RPM Fusion and go through here and enable the RPM Fusion on your system. And what I did was I went through here, read through this, but you can go here where it says RHEL and compatible. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Where it says RHEL or compatible like CentOS. You can install these, and that will provide you with the RPM Fusion packages. And this right here is actually the EP. Well, or is that it? Yeah, that's the EPEL, which I think, no, this is it right here. Yeah, this is the EPEL here, which you have to enable, which gives you some packages from Fedora, so you can get things like my fish shell, which I like using, and a few other packages, even like fast fetch, things like that's on there. So you'll want to enable RPM Fusion here. So run these commands, and then go down here and then just run this command. And this is the EPL here, where it talks about that. You'll want to read through this if you want to understand a little bit more what EPL is and how it relates with Fedora, how it relates with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So that's something you'll want to look at here. What else we have? You can go here to the multimedia section. Now, one thing I'll tell you, at least for right now, this command doesn't work in RHEL. I just installed the ffmpeg free command. So just do dnf install ffmpeg, and that's kind of what I have. Oops. So like sudo dnf install ffmpeg free, and that will provide, it's already installed on here, but that will give you ffmpeg, and that works pretty well on here. And I go ahead and install these codecs. Those seem to work fine. Some of this didn't work here on my AMD system, but I've had no issues with any drivers or things like that. This command does work if you're using NVIDIA, so I did install that, and that worked fine. I don't think this command works yet. Some of these may be added later as well as the system matures a bit. So let's see. I can't remember if this worked or if I installed it. Yeah, see, that's not available. It may eventually become available in RHEL, but I don't know for sure. Again, these are things that aren't really designed for RHEL, but they may or may not work. The same with these. You can test them out and see if they become available in RHEL, but they may or may not. That all being said, everything so far has worked fine for me. Now, one of the other things you'll need to keep in mind is, how do you get RHEL 10? How do you install it? Because if you just get the ISO and try to install it, it's going to ask you to log in and things like that. You do have to have a subscription to be able to use RHEL. But one of the advantages here is if you're using it just as an individual, you get this, you set yourself up with the Linux developer subscription. Those are free, and that gives you access to RHEL. And you get, where does it say it at? Let's see. Can't see very well. So you go through here and read through this. This will tell you, and I'll leave a link to this article right here. And this will get you set up with an account so that you can get RHEL set up. And that gives you 16, I believe. Yeah, you can get 16 systems. Basically, you can have 16 computers on this account, and that, I think, also will count if you're using it in a virtual machine as well. So you'll get 16 licenses you can use. So you can use it on 16 machines, and that's what I did. I had it installed on my desktop and my laptop, logged it in. It works. I'm able to get the packages. I'm able to get the updates. All that works just fine. But again, read through this article. It'll tell you how to set up your RHEL account and get that up and running. And then once you log in, you'll be able to get to the downloads and get the ISO for RHEL 10 or RHEL 9 if you really want to. But you can get RHEL 10, get that installed. It installs pretty much identical to Fedora. It is the Anaconda installer, and it is identical to Fedora. So if you've ever installed Fedora, that will look very familiar to you. I don't know if I'm going to run through an install right now, so this is just a short video kind of going over, showing you RHEL on the system and kind of how I got it up and running. And like I said, it works. I installed a few things. Like I said, I installed Steam. Most of these are flat packs like Krita, Kdenlive, Steam, OBS, Virtual Machine Manager, which you can install that with as a flat pack. And what you'll want to do is install that with the QEMU add-on, and you can do that through the Software Center. And again, like I said, here's my NVIDIA. It's working. I think I'm using driver 5.70, and I literally just downloaded that from the website, the NVIDIA website. Downloaded the driver directly. I used the .run file. It's a bash script basically, so you run it. And you'll install, like I said, you'll need to install the Linux headers. What did I install here? I'm trying to remember. I think you'll want to install, it's like sudo dnf install Linux, or is it kernel headers? Yeah, this is it. You'll want to install the kernel devil matched, and I believe it is kernel headers. And that's the files you'll want, is that right there. You install the kernel devil matched, and kernel headers. Get those installed. Then you can hop over to the NVIDIA website and go into drivers. It'll load up. Pick whatever series you have. Again, it's already got it selected because I already did this, but this is the system I'm running right now is the GTX 1050. But you can get any of the supported drivers. They've even got 50 series, but I think it's all on the unified driver anyway, so it'll support. It's just if you're using a much older NVIDIA card, you may have to grab a different driver, but this will support most of the modern NVIDIA cards. And you just download this dude, and it will provide you with the run file. Of course, I've already downloaded, I've already installed it. And once you download that run file, I made an executable, and I ran it as sudo. So, I just hopped in here, and let's go to my downloads. Hope I ain't got nothing weird in there. No, I downloaded Trixie ISO because I was testing it out. Well, I don't remember why I downloaded that one either. This was just, I'll talk about that in a second. But you can see where I downloaded it before. So you'll just make it executable, and then you just do sudo /NVIDIA run. You may run into some issues if you're in a GDM setting. If you're already logged into the system, if it complains at you, you may have to kill GDM. You could just do like a sudo system ctl stop stop, like GDM. Yeah, you could stop GDM, and that'll kick you back to a blank terminal, not a desktop environment, and then you can run the NVIDIA script there and install the NVIDIA driver. It may complain about 32-bit because you're not going to have 32-bit on here, but this is good enough for running, to get your flat packs up and running if you're wanting to do a little bit of light gaming and all that. This isn't a gaming distribution. It's not designed for gaming. That being said, what I've used, I've not had any issues with performance. Performance seems to be fine. So, hey, give it a shot. Play around with it. It does work. It will work as a desktop operating system. It'll work just like, this is GNOME. I can't remember the version they use, but what is that here? We go to about... Where does it say? System details. There we go. It's using GNOME 47. I don't know what the latest GNOME is. Was it like 48 or 49 right now? I don't even remember. It's Wayland only. Now, that's another thing. You can look this up on a lot of other YouTube guys and stuff talked about this. But Brody, I believe, mentions this. I think he has a video out about it. I recommend watching that. But RHEL is Wayland only. And what I mean by Wayland only is they do not have Xorg packages at all. It is stripped from the system. I don't know if there's a way to get Xorg on this system through a third-party repo or something. That's a possibility. I haven't tested or looked into that. But as it stands, from far as I know, there's no way to have Xorg at all on here. There's no Xorg session for GNOME. Nothing like that. That being said, they do have X-Wayland, so your Xorg apps should work in the Wayland session using X-Wayland. That's not been removed, but Xorg itself is gone. It's out the door. It's using kernel 6.12, and that's fairly modern. So if you have a system that's been built within the past year, you're good to go on this thing. Another thing I wanted to mention was printer. Now, when I first installed this system, it wouldn't automatically detect my printer. No matter what I did. And I installed scanner software too, because one thing I have to do for my job is I have to have a printer and I have to have a scanner. That's just something I have to have working no matter what. So if a system can't get my scanner and printer to work, I can't use it because I have to have that for work. So to get this to detect, it uses Avahi to detect my scanner, and it uses cups obviously to detect the printer. It wouldn't detect it automatically when I first installed the system. I had to actually disable the firewall, and you'll probably have to make, if you want to keep firewall running, you'll probably have to make some exceptions in the firewall config to enable the printers to come through. But I just disabled the firewall just to get my printer up and running, because I have to have my printer up and running. And once I did that, it automatically detected my printer, automatically detected my scanner, no issues. I was able to install like the Papyrus icon theme. The theming for some of the apps that were like GTK3 and stuff looked a little funky on here, some of the older apps. So what I did is I downloaded the ADW GTK3 theme and put that in my .themes folder. And then if you have the RPM Fusion packages installed, you can get into tweaks, and you can install the Papyrus icon theme is in the RPM Fusion repo. I don't think this ADW GTK3 is. It might be. I haven't checked, so don't quote me on that. I just downloaded it from their GitHub and installed the ADW GTK3, and that will help make some of the older GTK3 apps match the theming of this. So that's something you might be interested in setting up. Again, read through the RPM Fusion stuff, read through how to set up your developer account, download RHEL, install RHEL, and you should be good to go. The system is extremely stable, and it's fun to use. It's neat to use. I'm probably going to keep it on my laptop for a little while and test things out and just kind of see how long I can use RHEL as an actual desktop day-to-day driver OS, especially on my laptop here. I don't know if I'll do it on my desktop. I have like Gen 2, and then I dual boot Bazzite on there. I basically keep Bazzite because my wife likes using Bazzite, and I want to have a copy of it on my machine too, so that I can kind of troubleshoot things if I need to, or prepare for updates and things. I personally, on my main system, use Gen 2, but from time to time I switch. I know Red Hat catches a lot of flack for some of the decisions they've made as far as they kind of screwed over Alma Linux, they kind of screwed over Rocky Linux with not being able to easily provide the source code for RHEL, and that caused a lot of stink. What was that, a year or so ago? And then what they did with CentOS basically killed the old CentOS and came out with CentOS Stream. So that caused a bit of a stink, but if you're not worried about the politics side of it, you're not worried about any of that junk, then RHEL is an important distribution. Red Hat is an important company that does fund a lot of research in Linux. Now, their politics and some of the wonky decisions they've made, I definitely would disagree with. As far as like woke and this and that, I don't know. Again, I don't really get into too much of the politic crap on it. I don't personally care. I just want a system that works and runs and doesn't do anything really dumb. So, hey, if you're interested in it, I say pop on RHEL and give it a shot. She's a cool system. She's a stable system. She's very robust. And I've been having a lot of fun toying around with it. Just kind of neat having it. And I'm going to keep it on my laptop here for a while. I'm going to record some videos with it, see how that does. Again, I did OBS and all that stuff through Flatpaks. That seems to work. So I'm going to try to use RHEL for a little while on here and just see how it goes. I might do a video on the install process, although it's extremely simple and pretty much identical to Fedora. The only difference being that you got to log in to your RHEL account with your subscription to get the system installed. Again, like I said, a lot of this stuff I installed, it's pretty bare bones when you install it. So it doesn't have a lot of bloat, a lot of stuff like that. A lot of these apps here I installed myself. So, and I would recommend using mainly flat packs on this system. If that's kind of, I think, the way you should go with RHEL, because they're not going to provide a lot in their repos for you to install as native packages. They're just not. That's just not their dig. So, hey, give it a shot. Have some fun with it. Play around with it. Let me know, hey, in the comments if you've done it, if you like it. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want me to do more dumb stuff like this. And let me know if you want me to do an install video on RHEL, because I don't know if I should do one, because, again, it's just like Fedora's install. But I will do an install video and how to actually set all this stuff up. I've just kind of explained it to you, didn't do it. So if you want me to do a video on installing RHEL and setting RPM Fusion up and showing you step by step how to do that, I'll make that video, but you got to let me know that you want to watch it. God bless you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate everybody that's watched my videos so far. It's a small channel, but I'm having fun making videos. Again, leave me some comments, discuss some things, tell me things I've said wrong or done wrong. I take criticism very well. I'm thick-skinned, so, have at it. Let me know your thoughts about Red Hat, what you think about it. Does their politics and does their decisions bother you and would keep you from even using a system like this, even if it is good? So let me know those things. Like the video. God bless you guys. I pray everybody has a great rest of your day. I pray everybody is safe, and I pray the Lord blesses every single one of you guys. Thanks for watching me, and that's all I got. Bye.